Alright, what's up everybody? I know it's been quite a long time since I posted. I don't really have a reason. I just kind of forgot that this shit even existed. But today I watched this video. I might be pronouncing this wrong, but this is basically a response to Odie's booktube gripes, parentheses, a review of booktube. Because for some reason, like, I think I had a bunch of repressed thoughts, and then watching that video just like sucked that out of me. I even left a comment on his video, like a really long wall of text that I'm surprised he read. And I don't think he'll see this video, but if you do, I'm the dude that commented under Noah Loves Video Games and talked about all the things I'm about to talk about. So I think the booktube community is nice. I use a crap ton of booktube channels to basically like kind of just use for reference, for listening to discussion, reviews. I'll get to that in a second. Just because like I like to have an endless feed of what is essentially at the end of the day a bunch of recommendations. Sometimes even bad books get recommended. Not that sounds funny, but like even if a book gets a bad review or someone says garbage, I almost kind of want to read it just because morbid curiosity. But the point is, I'm here to talk about my gripes about YouTube, a review of booktube, just like Odie did. So I'm just gonna try to get straight to the point. Number one, out of my comment on his video, is book hauls. I've noticed there's a lot of YouTubers I watch that I keep saying YouTubers, but I mean booktubers. There's a lot of booktubers I watch that I really do enjoy. I like charisma comes through the video, all that jazz. But I've noticed that a lot of them have they have weekly book hauls or weekly this and that. And I believe that sometimes it starts crossing that line into what I call overconsumption. If you have a weekly book haul and it's 10 plus books, 15 plus books, 20 plus books, and you are verbatim saying that you aren't going to be able to read this until 2026, 2027, your taste is going to change in that amount of time. You can have a different taste in 3 months from now or 3 weeks from now. You don't know. You might read something, you might take a risk and read something you like, and then your taste is going to change. You're going to get drawn towards that. You simply cannot read that much. I don't care who you are, unless you're Steve Donahue. I don't think people should be buying what is essentially like more than 5 to 10 books a week. To me, that's crazy. My TBR is what I buy. I don't stick to like a rigid TBR. I guess I'm a mood reader. But I do think there's a lot of overconsumption that runs rampant in the booktube community. A lot of it I think is FOMO driven. I think that people, I can't knock them for this, but I think people see the numbers on the book hauls and there is a drive to keep buying and keep buying and keep buying, even if they know that they might never ever start that series or start that book. Another gripe I share this with Odie, is arbitrary Goodreads ratings. I have always, as an adult, been kind of opposed to any sort of like, X point Y or number rating or star rating. I just feel like it's really hard to capture nuance in any sort of numerical rating system. And just because we live a life and we are human, one day you might give something a 7 out of 10, and then maybe you live your life a little bit and maybe that changes to a 9 out of 10. And that review that you gave of that book, that 7 out of 10 will always be there. Obviously, barring you delete your account, or I don't know, if I don't use Goodreads, but maybe there's ones that let you change your rating. I'm sure there are. But that review will always be there. I already said the nuance thing. It's really hard to have any sort of nuance. Another thing that is, I have no way of backing this up, but I believe some of what I'm about to say. I think this weird, I think some of the treatment of like ratings comes from academia. And what I mean by that is I think that because in the US, I believe you have to have at least like a 60% or a 70% in some cases to pass that class, or you know, to make that credit count. And I believe that's made it where even if a book has what I would call a good rating, like a 3.5 or a 3.75, I'll see a booktuber just rag on a book like that, even though I feel like if a book gets a 3 out of 5 or a 3.5 out of 5, I think that should inform you that that book, I think you should treat that, and that should inform you as if that book just set out what it needed to do. Nothing more, nothing less, perhaps. I also have a problem with a lot of booktubers just like handing out 5 stars willy-nilly. I know there's some subjectivity there. Obviously, if you read a book and like it teaches you to be a better person, helps you lead a better life, you know, that can be your 5-star. I will be fair and say that. This is where I probably sound like kind of a dweeb, but I feel like a 5-star rating should be very rarely given out. And that a rating like that should be something that comes with time, or comes with discussion with peers, or, you know, reflecting on how that book changed you. So in a perfect world, or in my perfect world, I don't think we should attribute numbers to ratings. I think that's like a capitalist thing. I think that's a thing with the whole grading system in academia, is for some reason anything that's like below a 4 on Goodreads is like bad. Oh, it only has a 3.75. That probably means the book did its job. That 3.75 doesn't tell you how the author used craft, or how the author wrote the themes into the book, or used subtext in the dialogue. It doesn't do any of that. The ratings will also change for you personally. You might read a book as a 21-year-old, give it a 3. You might read it as a 31-year-old, and it's a 5-star. Another thing I've noticed in booktube is, this is strictly personal taste, so I'm not going to try to be mean, but I have noticed that a lot of the popular booktube channels, and I think I'm about to get to why they're popular, there's a lot of them, especially the ones that have weekly book hauls, or weekly what I read this week updates and TBR updates. A lot of them will sometimes, you know, start off with a stack of books, 10, 15 books high. But I have noticed a common thread between a lot of booktube channels, that it's just simple, like, oh, I really liked this book. Oh, I didn't like this book. Oh, this was a DNF. And they will almost never touch on elements of craft, themes, allusion, metaphor, and it kind of it takes me back to the FOMO thing of, I believe, a lot of YouTubers out there, and like I said, I can't knock them for this, because this is just, it's a case-by-case basis, but a lot of them, I sometimes wish they would delve into more discussion-based themes in their booktube reviews, instead of just simply saying, like, I didn't like this. Oh, this was a DNF. Oh, I wasn't feeling this book. Like, why weren't you feeling that book? Give me the why. I don't like just giving me a statement and then moving on. That just screams FOMO, and screams I'm consuming books for the sake of keeping up with numbers. The last one that Odie touched on was book tags. I think book tags are fun, but I do see where you're coming from, where you say people just hold up books almost for the sake of holding up a book and being like, hey, this book did this for me. This book had a dude shoving a cactus in his ass. Like, I think you're right about that. But honestly, that's basically it. I'm a really long-winded person. I'm sorry, I haven't done this in like 6 months. I might tag Odie in the comments and just like hope to God that he sees this. Like I said, I left a comment on your video under the name Noah Loves Video Games. Yeah, but that's my thoughts, and thank you for watching.